Whoa. Yes. A lot of talk and speculation, a lot of things happen. We get Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. We get King Kong versus Godzilla. Batman versus Superman. Iron Man versus Captain America. But what we're really going to get is the UFC versus boxing. First time ever. Let's just call it that. Even if there was a fight before this, it doesn't matter. Because on this scale, we are talking two of combat sports' most notorious names in the world. For the UFC, Conor McGregor, aka the Notorious One, aka a man whose mouth just moves 1,000 miles per minute, versus Mr. Untouchable, the defensive guru himself, and the man known as Money, Floyd Mayweather. These two will fight on August 27th. And this is a special Downrated Sports boxing edition. And pretty much, from a fan's point of view, we're going to talk about this fight. It needs to be discussed. It's been discussed at nauseam, at a level you can't even imagine. As I do my best Rick and Morty imitation, of course. But why is this fight happening? Easy answer. Money. Why else does anything else happen? Money. This fight, Floyd Mayweather said he only does not figure. Good for you. Floyd Mayweather is apparently going to make $400 million for this fight. Yeah, I need to sign up for that one. $400 million. I need you to understand what that means. He's making this on one fight. Some guy, nobody makes that. I can't even. That's so much money I can't speak of. Let me just move to Conor. Conor's about to make the most he's ever made in a fight. $127 million. Why is that? Because in the UFC, it's kind of like the WWE or the NFL, where there's a pay scale depending on where you're ranked. You can only make so much. But I think the most any guy's made fighting in the UFC maybe is $20 million. He's making $127 million. Now I'm pretty sure out of that maybe 50 goes to the UFC because that's who had to sign off. It's his contract that's in it. But Conor will make at least $75 million, which 5 times as much as he ever made in a UFC event. Ask and you shall receive. Anyway, money, key. Money, Floyd Mayweather, win or lose, is going to make a lot of money. Conor McGregor, win or lose, is going to make a lot of money. Dana White, win or lose, is going to make a lot of money. Showtime, win or lose, is going to make a lot of money. The talk is to rent this fight, I think is $100. I'm going to pay $100 to see this fight because it must be seen, and we're going to touch on what I think could happen, keyword. But bragging rights, money, these are things that drive this. Bragging rights for who? Bragging rights for Floyd Mayweather to not only say I'm the greatest fighter ever, I'm the greatest fighter in all levels of sports. Now, it's kind of with an asterisk because he didn't go fight Conor in a octagon. He fought him in a ring. That's Floyd's specialty. And to be fair, I think UFC's entertaining. Boxing is more of science and strategy. Now, there's some strategy in the UFC, but let's be real. If I kick you right, you're going down. In boxing, you got to move, man. You got to be, last night, my statistician, Uncle Buddha, Tim Woodson, and I, and the great musical genius, and Mike Myth, we sat and we watched a couple hours of fights, and not just Floyd and Conor's, but of Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes. We watched these fights last night to see the differences and the comparisons, boxing versus UFC. And in boxing, if you grapple, you got to separate. In UFC, if you grapple or you get tied up, you can just need a guy in the gut. So, you know what I'm saying? There's not a whole lot of thought that goes into that. Oh, we're close? Let me need you in the gut. But it's bragging rights, man. Floyd is everybody I've spoken to. I have a good friend of mine Issa, who I consider a boxing expert from the best amateur standpoint. You can see Issa can dissect a boxing match or a UFC match like I know no other. My boy Preston is very good at doing it as well. Sean is very opinionated, a guy I also know. These guys are all opinionated, and I trust their opinions on what they think this fight could be. And they all said the same thing. Floyd's just going to destroy him. Floyd's just going to embarrass him. Nobody can hit him. So there's Conor's bragging rights to prove I'm that guy. I'm the guy who gets in a UFC ring and likes to go toe-to-toe and square with another individual. I'm the guy who can beat this other guy. That's the thing. And then the other bragging rights is boxing versus UFC. Clearly. Who is better? Everybody says boxing is boring and dead, and UFC is where it's at because, yes, I want to see somebody get their head kicked in while blood drips down their face and their ear is sitting here. Where in boxing, it's more strategy. You got to come at the body. You got to jab. You got to stick and move. You got to make sure the legs is moving. Can't drag this. Don't slip that. Don't do that. Oh, I don't want to see that. It's 12 rounds of hugging. You get in a boxing ring and you can go 12 rounds. It's the reason why UFC fights, the main event is only 5. So, we're going to find out August 27th which athletes from their respectable sports can do. Worlds collide. You know, so we're going to see what happens. Or we find out it's the WWE. And, you know, it's basically a Vince McMahon style match. Hey, I'm going to take the Floyd Mayweather fought in the WWE. Okay, he fought the Big Show. It was staged, of course, because a Big Show probably would kill him. But just by hugging, you know, come here, little guy. But it's scripted. A lot of people think so. A lot of people think there's a potential of a rematch where Floyd goes in the octagon. Let me tell you, that ain't happening. Yeah, Floyd ain't going to no octagon, man. Floyd ain't taking no dive in no octagon. What it is a show. It's an entertainment show. It's an exhibition, but it counts because Floyd's never lost. It counts. Conor McGregor, we're going to that. I'm jumping ahead. But in any case, the fight is happening. I can't wait. And we're going to the next segment where I basically shake everybody's tree and faith loose and show you how insane and crazy I am and what I believe, and you can suck it because I don't care. Anyway, we'll be back. Downright Sports. Downright Sports boxing special, Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, August 27th. I feel like as much as I keep saying, I should get some type of money for it, like a cha-ching. Anyway, this fight's happening. Everybody has Floyd Mayweather winning. And when I mean everybody, I mean everybody. The only person that thinks Conor McGregor will win is Conor, his kid, because he doesn't know any better, and maybe his mom. But you can add a third person to that list, and that is me. I believe Conor can win this fight. 15% chance he can win, but I believe Conor has an opportunity to win the fight. I've been watching his training. Now, I know you know, but I've been watching his training, and he's changed. He's progressed. He's gotten better. He went from being just a straight wild man UFC fighter to actually forming and morphing into a boxer. Where he lags, his issues are his footwork. Is a little, his footwork is so, but it's gotten better. He no longer drops his hands when he goes for a swing. Like Conor is a lefty. He has a crazy hook, which is insane. He loves that hook. He likes going under and hitting you with that hook right here in the ribs and working it. He has he has an overhead left, which tries to connect here. But he used to, when he would jab with his right, he would drop everything and leave all this open. Now, if he does it against Floyd, he's waking up, with his face in the cereal. But unlike a lot of UFC fighters, he does like to box. The most notable fight that you can take a look at to see would be the Nate Diaz fight. The first one. Now, he loses to Nate Diaz via, speaker turns off, loses to Nate Diaz via a tap out. Diaz choked him out. But if you go back and watch the first round, parts of the second round, he tries to go toe-to-toe with Nate Diaz and tries to box him. What he prefers to do, gets some hands up, but he keeps him around here and not here. Go and look at his recent training videos, and he's now here. He's got a better jab. He's got a better move, and he has an opportunity to shock the world. Now, you're saying, Brent, if you got in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, you have an opportunity. No, I don't. Conor McGregor's a fighter. He's a trained fighter. He's not some... Everybody's kind of comparing, well, if LeBron got in the ring, LeBron is not a fighter. He's a basketball player. It's a totally different concept. Conor McGregor fights for a living. He has an opportunity. It takes one swing, night, Floyd, and that's it. No conversation, no talking, just drool and sleep. Conor's fighting a 40-year-old man. And anywhere else in society, if a 28-year-old man fought a 40-year-old man, nobody would pick the 40-year-old to win. But then again, it's Floyd Mayweather, who has not fought in like 3 years. And on top of that, Floyd carefully picks his fights. Now, back to tape, he did pick Conor McGregor. The difference is Conor McGregor is a wild card. He is not a boxer. He is a UFC fighter. So if you think you're just going to stand in the ring and you're going to rock his dome a few times and Conor's just going to go to sleep, you're wrong. This is a man used to getting kicked in the head, knee in the chest, thrown to the ground. He can take punishment. That's what you people seem to forget, that if Floyd decides to fight him, which he's saying, he can take punishment. The other, now, where Conor lacks, and hopefully this has gotten better, is his lungs, his legs, his breath. He can't laugh. The guy's he's done, when you see him, he goes 2 rounds, but he's using more energy. He's hugging you, he's grappling you, he's kicking, he's jumping, he's doing all this stuff, where now he's just got to be on his legs and he's got to move. He's got to dance around that ring, jab, go toe to toe. That's it. He doesn't have to worry about somebody trying to tackle him and, go to town on him. So you got two guys separated by a decade and some change, fighting each other as far as age goes. You got one guy who has everything to lose. Because if Conor McGregor beats Floyd Mayweather, it's a wrap. The conversation is over. You lost to a guy who's not from your profession. And I'm explaining to you there's 2 ways Conor can win this fight. Way 1, he knocks Floyd Mayweather out. End of discussion. Way 2, he goes 12 rounds and last. Because that's the conversation everybody's saying, is that Floyd's just going to get in the ring and knock Conor McGregor clean out and end the discussion. No. If Conor McGregor survives, yes, the card will go to Floyd, but if he survives, if he shows he can go toe to toe, if he never gets knocked down, never drops to his knee, he will have proven to the world that he is one of the better fighters in the world. Now, everybody already thinks that, but this puts you at a different planet now. You're in a completely different echelon. You're in like Brock Lesnar territory. The reason why Brock is looked at as such a freak of nature is because Brock went from being a fake fighter to being a real fighter and was winning. You know what I'm saying? And then left and came back and won again. So Conor McGregor has an opportunity. He has a shot. Everybody has a shot. I know what you're thinking. But for those of you that think he can't land a punch, he can. And for those of you that think he can't maybe shock the world, he can. He's not some joke. He's not some run-of-the-mill guy that's just out there. He is a fighter. He's a beast. I've watched him. The only other guy I respect more than him right now in UFC is John Jones, because that's a bad mother. Shut your mouth. But, hey, watch this. Watch this and comment and say how insane I am and how I know nothing. Because you know what? I really don't care, because you watch the show. And that's the ultimate goal, is to get eyeballs on the screen. Big or small. Anyway, we're going to wrap the show up and touch on something I think is pretty cool. We're going to have some fun in the next segment. The champ is here. The champ is here. Champion of the underdogs. That's what I'm going to call myself. Champion of the guys who don't watch. It's all good. Anyway, we're going to end the show with what I think is going to be pretty fun. The greatest fights of all time. I didn't do any UFC fights because I needed to do more homework on UFC. unlike boxing, UFC is still like this. More people know the greatest boxing fights of all time than they know the UFC fights. I'm sorry. I know every millennial out there, every kid, every person under the age of 35 believes they've seen everything, and you know, if it didn't happen before if it didn't happen during their lifetime, it never happened. It's just not accurate. But in any case, here are my greatest fights of all time. I don't have them in any particular order, but these are fights that, without a doubt, you can point to, and you can ask anybody and they'll know what you're talking about. Starting with Ali versus Frazier, 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 3 are more notable than 2. The fight of the century when they fought in Madison Square Garden, Ali, fresh off of fighting the government, telling the United States he's not fighting the Vietnamese. Joe Frazier, the new world heavyweight champion of the world. Some people saying he's not the real champion because Ali never lost the belt. And here they go. They're going to fight each other. And they did. And it was, if it was today, it's bigger than Floyd and Conor. Like that, it's bigger than Floyd and Pacquiao. That's how huge this fight was. Everybody talked about this fight. And anybody rooted against Ali. True patriots, old school blacks rooted against Ali. He was loud, he was boisterous, he was braggadocious. He was everything we love today. He was popping his collar, he was dabbing, he was all of that stuff. And he was hated. He wasn't hated, but he was disliked because, number one, you spoke against, you were Colin Kaepernick. You spoke against the establishment, man. And then there's Joe Frazier, quiet blue collar guy from Philadelphia, gonna go in and put up his dukes. Frazier would win, but he would lose the next 2, and then you got being the third, being the Thriller Manila. The guys go the distance. The most notable, the biggest takeaway was it was like 120 degrees when they were fighting in the Philippines, which is hot, man. Some say it was the core. It was the beginning to where you see Ali lose it, and potentially where he might have got, where both Ali and Frazier just lost it all as far as their motor skills. Parkinson's for Ali. Frazier just basically just beaten. These guys just kept fighting. The talk is that it was going to be Ali's corner was going to call the match, and Frazier wanted to get up and fight him, but Frazier's corner eventually called it. They said, "Dude, you just can't keep going. You're going to die here." But that match, that was the last time the two fought. That was Ali's last notable victory. Last fight, the last that was it. That was it. That was the rivalry. That was the end of the rivalry. Nobody had a better rivalry than those guys. Next on the list will be Tyson Holyfield. Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield 2. Not 1, but 2. 1 was was the talk. All through the 80s, why isn't Holyfield getting a shot? Why are they keeping him as a light heavyweight? He should fight Tyson. He never gets to fight Tyson. Tyson goes to jail when his opportunity comes up. But now the opportunity is here. They face each other, and the first time, Holyfield beats him. The second time, Tyson, he's going to come back with revenge. He's going to beat him. Yeah. Well, he didn't, and he got frustrated, and he bit his ear. That's what makes this fight notable, is the outcome. Mike Tyson snapped, which everybody was expecting, and bit off Evander Holyfield's ear and hurting him, ultimately. And that was it for Mike Tyson. He would have a few wins, but he wasn't the same guy anymore. He was done after that. The Mike Tyson allure, the glow was over. Holyfield would go on and have he became a warrior, but he couldn't win. He had some great fights with Lennox Lewis, but just couldn't overcome it. And that was ultimately it. We never got a Holyfield Tyson 3, which, quite honestly, I don't think anybody wanted to see. And let's move to Ali Foreman. Ali is, back. He's the man again. But Foreman, after Ali and Frazier fight, Foreman fights Frazier and drops him and wins the title. Foreman's this big guy, just this brute, just goes to the body and just takes care of business. And everybody thought because Ali was older that he was going to lose. But this is the Rumble in the Jungle. Rumble, young man, rumble. The fight back in the motherland. Boom. The problem with this was they didn't know Ali still had something left in the tank. And he where you see the creation of the rope-a-dope. Ali back on the ropes, just taking it, tiring the big man until Ali, like a great fighter, strikes and then drops him, and ultimately wins the title back. The two never had a rematch. Foreman said he was never the same after that. Foreman, years later, would fight again at like 40 and win the title, but he just wasn't the same. Because the embarrassment, Ali embarrassed him. He talked about him like a dog, but in his defense, Ali talked about everybody like a dog. But it was huge because it was the first time maybe Ali was now the hero because he was such an underdog and now he was the guy. Finally, Joe Louis and Max Schmeling. This was huge. Joe Louis was the brown bomber, black heavyweight champion. Went through a lot. Had to sign a crazy contract when he fought for the world title for the first time, basically stipulating he would not be filmed with, he could not be on camera with a white woman, could not be on camera eating chicken and watermelon, and the person he fought for the title at the time would take 15% of Joe Louis's winning purse, his fight purse, for every fight Joe Louis would have his whole career. How crazy is that? Max Schmeling was Germany's golden goose. He was what Hitler visioned to be the perfect specimen, and these two was going to fight each other. Joe Louis, a black man, had the United States on his back, served in the armed forces. He's going to fight Germany. He's going to battle him. This was it, and it was epic, and Joe Louis ultimately would win. And these two actually, I think, developed a friendship years later, I believe. So Louis, who served his country, and again, when he died, Ronald Reagan made sure he was buried in Arlington Cemetery, which is pretty cool, if I'm not mistaken. I believe so. I could be wrong. I know he made sure he got a proper burial because Joe Louis died broke. He really did, but he was such a good guy. People like to take care of him and look after him. But Joe Louis was a hero, and this was a huge fight. This was Ali Frazier. This was the biggest fight of all time because it mattered. It was country versus country. We'll never have that again. We'll never have UFC versus somebody. It was that big. Everybody was glued to their radio because the fight wasn't on TV unless it was closed circuit, like in a movie theater or something like that. So these are the fights I think were the best. You get to see this fight. This is all happening because of Conor versus Floyd. August 27th, these two will go toe-to-toe. Who will win? Who's the better? My heart and brain tell me you gotta go with Floyd. Never bet against money. But my gut says you gotta give Conor a chance and he could win. We'll find out. We'll see. You know I'm watching it. We'll do some live video for this. Maybe we'll go Facebook Live. Everybody in the living room going crazy. Nah, I'm not going Facebook Live. I'm going to be drunk during this fight. Just going to let y'all know. I'm going to be belligerent. Anyway, thank you for watching. Another Downright Sports special. Another Downright Sports that aired earlier is going to be watched. Downright Sports is back. Downright Sports until December. Downright Sports until 2018. Downright Sports until 2020. Downright Sports forever. Forever! I dropped my remote and I scared the dog. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching, and ciao.